This morning's guest is the CEO of one of the most thought of companies in our area. Today, his thoughts are on saving babies. Who is he? You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Walk America Week on Carolina People. This morning we're at South Carolina's most visited attraction, Ripley's Aquarium. We're visiting with an active and longtime volunteer of the March of Dimes, Dennis Wade. Good morning, Dennis.
Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, absolutely.
What about this
What a beautiful
Ripley's
facility,
Aquarium?
man. It's packed with kids everywhere.
It is nuts at 7 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Oh, my Lord. They're all over the place.
I know, it's incredible. Ripley's goes out of their way.
They really do. What a
really
tremendous experience they provide here.
What a perfect thing for the state as well. And of course, I think you
absolutely.
highlighted before we started back in '99,
Yes.
they won the Governor's Cup for the state of South Carolina.
Sure did.
You're
we followed in 2006 at Ocean Lakes with the same award.
This past year.
Great honor.
Ocean Lakes Family Campground.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes.
That is tremendous.
It is a great destination here for folks from around the area, folks who come here to visit during the summer. Just a tremendous experience here.
From around the world.
Absolutely.
They come from everywhere, but particularly now when you think kids coming in, Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops.
Absolutely.
And schools.
I want to go walk around and look at everything.
Yeah, no, wait till 7:30. Just wait a few minutes. You know, we think about a big day, today being March 28th, but a bigger day is a month from now.
Absolutely. We're a month away from WalkAmerica 2007. We've changed the venue this year.
Right.
We're going to move that over to Coastal Carolina University, and there's so much positive things that are going on and getting ready for the walk. We're kind of on that last stretch to get to where we need to be on the goal and getting everybody involved. So this is kind of the real push for the next 30 days.
Absolutely. Linda Puckett was with us yesterday talking about their Forest Brook Walk, which is happening this morning. And, of course, Ryan Swain, the chairman, will be with us tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Who you co-chaired with last year.
Ryan is doing a tremendous job.
Oh, yeah.
And the schools, Linda, the folks at Forest Brook Elementary, #1 in the state last year.
Yes.
How big is that? That is outstanding. But all the schools in Horry County have really stepped up. I mean, over the last couple of years, the schools have really gotten involved, and we appreciate that so much. I mean, to have the kids really out there doing a lot of events to raise money for babies.
Right.
You know, the close connection with those kids and you know, the March of Dimes, saving babies.
Yes.
You know, there's really a connection there. So we've really benefited from that.
Linda talked about it yesterday. Said the figure is at least 95%. You can ask a kid about, even use the word prematurity there at Forest Brook, and they know what's going on.
Absolutely.
They really understand that. I'm 36. I'm trying to think, what the heck's what's prematurity? A lot of adults don't even know.
And the more that they find out, and especially at Forest Brook Elementary, at Foxy Elementary, where there's a connection with a particular family who's experienced it, they really get behind it. It's something that they can then understand, something they can, you know, put a face and a name with what the March of Dimes is all about.
You're thinking about Luke Parrott or Riley, Grace Sapples.
Absolutely.
So many connections. And, of course, week after next, Brian Simpson will be with us, whose wife's been a longtime teacher at Myrtle Beach Middle, who had a premature birth of their own, and the experiences of going through that. It's a powerful thing.
It is, and once you get involved and you understand what the March of Dimes is trying to do, it's almost compelling. The mission of the March of Dimes it really draws you in, and to be able to, you know, raise money for research to try to find a way to stop premature birth, stop some of these birth defects that we really don't know what causes it. But to be able to see some of these babies, unfortunately not all of them survive, not all of them can live a healthy life, but to see, you know, Riley Sapples, to see Luke Parrott, to see Parker Wilson, who are now growing up and living a normal life, and through a lot of the research that the March of Dimes has been able to enable, is tremendous.
You know, so oftentimes folks think, what can my dollars or even dimes do? And of course, we go backwards 70 years, like Colleen Shanley was talking about on Monday. And you think about the reason it got started with FDR, and then of course the Salk vaccine. Same thing right now with prematurity.
Absolutely.
Think, why prematurity? We don't know, but those are research dollars.
That's right, and it's so important that those dollars. March of Dimes does a tremendous job. I believe the last number is about 92% of every dollar that they raise goes directly into research and programs to help eliminate, prevent birth defects and premature birth. It is, I think 1 in 8 now is the number are born premature. In South Carolina, it's scary. 24 babies every
day.
Every day.
Will be born today.
Absolutely. Over 160 every week. Over 8,000 over the course of a year are born premature.
We're just talking about in the Palmetto State.
In South Carolina. And unfortunately, it happens everywhere. And I don't, unfortunately, premature birth knows no boundaries. It's not,
it does not
ethnic,
discriminate.
racial,
That's right.
any of that. I mean, it cuts across all boundaries. And that's why, I think the research that they're doing is so important to try to if we can narrow it in, what's causing it, try to find a cure for it.
Speaking of that, Dennis, I know you know this phone number, so I'm going to ask you, if a viewer needs to get off to school now or off to work, what's the best number?
The easiest way to remember is 488-DIME.
D-I-M-E.
That's right, 488-3463.
Okay, great. For viewers who need to take off, about yourself, Dennis, are you originally from the area?
I'm originally from Lancaster, South Carolina, about 2 hours up the road, little south of Charlotte. I've been here for the last 10 years and have really, really enjoyed living in the community.
Yeah, what brought you to the Myrtle Beach area, Dennis?
What brings everybody is that ocean out there.
That's right. How about Ripley's? Yeah.
That's right. Actually, I was working in Columbia after I got out of school, worked there for a number of years, had the opportunity to come down here and join the Jackson companies.
Oh, yeah.
And what a tremendous opportunity, and it's just worked out so positively for me and my family and all. I don't think there's enough dynamite to get me or my family out of here now. We call this home, and this is home.
That's tremendous, Dennis. For our viewers in the PD or southeastern North Carolina that may not be familiar, if there is such a thing, with the Jackson companies, what exactly are the Jackson companies?
We actually get that asked a lot.
Yeah.
The Jackson companies is the Jackson family owns the enterprise, and our lead operation is Ocean Lakes Family Campground, obviously, as we mentioned, won last year's Governor's Cup from PRT. We also have, and that's a 300-acre oceanfront resort. It's more than really a campground. It's a family campground, but it's really a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
We also own and operate Prescott Country Club.
Is that right?
That is, and that's another positive part of our development. And we're actually right now in the very early stages of planning and getting ready to develop at the intersection of 544 and 17 Bypass, a mixed-use development called Saybrook.
Yes.
And that is going to be probably over the next 10 or 15 years, a mixture of commercial, retail, office, residential, hopefully a lot of things that will become a community unto itself.
I think I saw about 740 acres down there.
Yes, it is, and we'll probably end up with about 1,800 households over there. Yes, sir.
My Lord, Dennis.
What we're looking at developing over there is going to be something that will be something fairly unique to this area.
Right.
It'll have a real community feel to it. Definitely some entertainment opportunities for people, exercise opportunities, things that you expect when you move into a community.
Absolutely.
And the location is just prime right there at 544 and the bypass.
How exciting, and immediately adjacent to the former Air Force Base.
It is.
Buddy Cyrus was with us last Thursday talking about not only Market Common, but Lennar and Withers Preserve. There's just a lot going to be happening in these two large adjacent tracts.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the south end is there are a lot of positive things happening. I mean, if you kind of look at the map, where along the beach area, anywhere east of the Intercoastal Waterway, do you find land mass of what's still there that hasn't been developed?
Right.
And those are two very large land masses. And we're looking to do something similar to what they're doing on the air base.
Right.
Something upscale, something that brings value to the folks who live there, to businesses. It's something that we want to have where you can actually live, work, and play right there. You don't have to get in the car and go somewhere. Everything will be right there.
How exciting when you think of the dream of Nelson and Mary Emily Jackson back in the early 70s, 71 or 2.
That's right,
when they founded
started
Ocean Lakes Family Campground. Nelson was with us at the Herald Studios a couple of years ago in there and had all these pictures of his, is it 5 or 6 girls? 5 daughters with his wife in front of this big bus, which I guess was an RV.
He had one of the first motor coach buses in the country.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he traveled across the country then as the girls were very young,
Right.
selling the cloth that he and his father in their business, Cloth of Gold, Jackson & Jackson, had up in the Tryon area.
Wow.
And he went all over the country. And he can pretty much tell you today
That's right.
every place he went.
And probably still has a little memory
Yeah.
from each of those places, I'm sure.
But he and Mary Emily and the 5 daughters and their family have really built something special down there at Ocean Lakes in Prestwick. They have really viewed themselves as stewards of the property. Mrs. Jackson inherited the property from her parents.
Oh, really?
Her father was a pharmacist over in Conway,
Right.
Dr. Platt. And when they passed away in the 60s, Mary Emily and her brother inherited the property, and Mary Emily and Nelson started the development in the early 70s. And Crystal Lake Mobile Home was the very first development.
Oh, yes, which
Ocean
is
Lakes
beautiful.
followed a year later, and things have really taken off from there. But there is a very strong stewardship, and you know, they received the property from her parents. They want to make sure that they hand it on to their children.
Right.
They've taken care of the property, that they've developed it in a good way, and they've created something special, which they really have. And you know, myself and the other members of the management team, our job is really to continue that into the future. And the 5 daughters who actually own the company now and oversee the operations, we've got a professional management team that runs it day to day, but they provide us the strategic direction of where they want to see the business go. But it's still that stewardship function is still there very solidly.
That is fascinating.
Yes.
Dennis. I wonder if folks ever ask about Mary Emily's brother. What did he do with did he get some land as well?
He did, and
Yeah.
that's the area where you look at Queens
Deer Track
Harbor,
and-
Deer
oh,
Track,
yeah.
The Deerfield development.
Yeah. These were
yeah,
very
so
substantial. This pharmacist in
Absolutely.
Conway was a very substantial landholder.
Used to be, I believe, at one time, Dr. Platt had somewhere around 8,000 acres
No,
total.
my Lord.
And at that point in time, it was timberland, and,
Yeah.
and they hunted the property. Who would have known, you know, a matter of probably 50, 60 years later, what that property would have turned into.
Absolutely. How exciting.
It
Dennis.
really
That
is. And we've, you know, a lot of very positive things looking out into the future, too.
Oh, yeah, sure, very definitely. I think I saw that Ocean Lakes, Lance was with us a couple of months ago and talked about it being a mile of oceanfront.
It is.
And it really is. When folks visit it for the first time, and the terminus of 544, it really ends right there at Ocean Lakes.
It does. What a better place for a major artery coming in
I
to
know.
intersect right there at your front door.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't realize once you get inside the front gates, what all is available within the campground. I mean, it's pretty much it is a full-service resort.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that you need to come and stay, as Nelson has always said, you know, I want them to come. I want to find ways to keep them from leaving.
Right.
If they need to go get money, I'll put an ATM. If they want to go get something to eat, I've got a snack bar. You
Yes.
know, oh, they got to wash their clothes. I've got a laundromat.
I love it. No
you
need
know,
to
so
leave the
absolutely,
leave the 300-acre premises.
absolutely.
That is fascinating.
So it has really blossomed over the years into a completely comprehensive, full-service resort. We've got 350 to 400 teammates.
Right.
We obviously spike up during the summertime,
Sure.
during the peak season. But we have around 350 to 400 overall who make Ocean Lakes what it is. And that's smiling, helping people. And our job is the best job. I tell people I've got the best job.
Yes.
You know, oversee an operation where your job is to help people have a good time.
Absolutely.